Section 336, we on this, so tune in. You know what's up? Welcome to Birdland. Yeah, welcome to Birdland. You know what's up? Welcome to Birdland. Now, here come the boys from Section 336.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Baltimore sports fans of all ages, welcome to Section 336, Next Generation of Baltimore Sports Talk. I am your daily starting host, Matt Soroka, and as always, I'm joined by the button lover, Josh Soroka.
Hey, Matt. How's things going in Georgia?
Good. Prior to our conversation now, I was looking at, I'm planning my trip to Miami for tomorrow, a little late in the game, but we're going to stop at a children's museum on the way down and then go make our way to Miami to see some Orioles baseball. I haven't bought tickets yet. I don't know when is the ideal time to purchase tickets. I feel like I can go in any time and buy them for $10.
I think for the Marlins, it does not matter.
Yeah, I don't think it does either. I've been checking.
I think you could walk up at the stadium and buy your tickets and be fine.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, can I get them for $7 instead of $10? And we're talking.
Well, what's the face?
You can't even sit in the upper sections. Everything is lower sections.
Oh, really? And what's the face?
I mean, there's the mid section, the 200 level, but you can't even get in the 300 level.
That's a shame. It's not a shame that they close it off. It's a shame that they don't have enough support to even open it up.
Yeah, big city like Miami. I know that whole franchise is just.
I mean, we have not. People will make fun of the Orioles attendance and stuff when we don't fill that left field wing of the upper deck. Could you imagine? We've never been in a spot at Camden where there's no point in opening the upper deck. It's never been that bad.
Right. Yeah. Maybe during those COVID games, someone people have been talking about the Orioles attendance being up. One of the guys, was it Jacob Calvin Mayer? I don't want to talk bad about someone. I think it was the Baltimore Sun, but I don't want to talk crap about someone. But someone was like, attendance is up, but we're still not ranked up in the league or something.
Shut up.
And it was all about interviewing people and why they're not going to the games. It was like, dude, you missed the point. Attendance is up big time this year.
It's up bigger than any other city in baseball.
But it's not, Josh. It's not top 10.
Yeah, but
so
you can't
we need to write an article on why it's not top 10.
But you can't jump from 26 to number 1.
I know. And viewership on Mass is way up too. Yeah.
Aren't we up over 300%? Or something like that. We're up 300,000 people more than this time last year. It's something ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a huge jump.
Everyone says baseball's dying. It's up huge in Baltimore, bigger than any other town.
Yeah,
and any other baseball team.
A 30.6% increase from last year. Yeah.
Guess what? Because like we've said for years, winning baseball brings people back. It doesn't matter what the crime rate is. It doesn't matter what the time of the start of the game is. It doesn't matter how parking is.
And massive viewership is up 35%, just by the way.
Now, if you want to say those people are back because they finally have Coke back in the stadium instead of Pepsi, I will listen to you.
Oh, is that what it is?
That's where I draw the line.
Even if you have to wait in a 2-hour line to get the Coke?
Yeah. Or, hey, once in a while they give it to you for free.
Or for free, yeah.
Yeah, because it's just too hot to pay for it.
Hey, Josh, you're in North Carolina now, right?
I am in the Outer Banks.
Hey, I forgot to share this story with you.
Yeah.
Be careful coming home. So when we got home from the Outer Banks, we got home. We drove straight through, so we got home at like 1 a.m.
All right.
And I walked in my house. We've been gone, mind you, for 4 weeks because we went to Virginia, Maryland. We did the whole tour.
All right, I'm doing that. I'm up here for 3 weeks.
Okay. I walk home. I walk in my door. There's a bit of a smell. But my house is old, so I don't think that much of it. A little strange smell.
You got kids, so it always kind of smells.
Yeah, and we got 2 dehumidifiers that run constantly. I thought, the house gets damp. But whatever. So we went to bed.
All right, you're concerning me. All right, so it was a noticeable smell, but you just went right to bed.
Well, no, it was a faint, kind of musty smell.
All right.
I'm tired. Our house is old. We've been gone 4 weeks, whatever.
Oh, I know what happened.
Do you?
Let me guess.
Yeah, okay, go.
Your fridge Your fridge, you lost power at some point, and everything in your fridge went bad.
Oh no, that would be more logical than what actually happened.
All right.
I woke up the next day. I
Yes.
walk into our library area over here.
The
and
library.
The library.
Yeah. And you walked past the conservatory and into the library.
Yeah. Into our $1 million spatial. No, we got just the play area over here.
Yeah. The maid didn't clean up properly in the library.
There was glass on the floor. Like, well, this is weird. Like glass covering the floor.
Like something shattered your window.
Yes. And then on the ground next to the shattered glass,
a squirrel.
A dead bird.
A bird crashed through your window?
Through the window. There's a hole where the bird flew through the window, this little plain glass window, just like the window behind me, through one of those windows, dropped dead on the ground. So a dead bird, shattered glass all around.
What? Why did the bird want in your house?
I have no idea. I mean, and I guess Josh, we've been in this house for 2 years. We're down to, I think, 5 broken panes of window. They're just not very strong, I guess, too. We've broken 5 of them.
Are they all by birds?
No. Just yesterday, Faye broke one. She was jumping around.
Oh, so each family member has broken one.
Emily broke one trying to swat a wasp.
All right, who broke the very first one?
Emily trying to hit the wasp.
That's good. That's a good move because then you're scot-free after that because Emily broke it. So now if a kid breaks it, if you break it, well, remember you broke one too. They're not that strong of glass.
Yeah. Amazingly, Stylus has always thrown the baseball around the house. Amazing. I thought for sure he'd be the next one to break one.
Yeah.
But he still hasn't broke one. It's a matter of time though before you break something.
I would have never guessed a bird came through your window while you were gone.
Yeah, no, that's so I don't know how long it was there, but that was definitely the smell. And now we got a piece of cardboard over that window. We have to fix it.
That's not the type of birds we normally talk about on this podcast.
Yeah, and that's now a dead bird. So
I'll tell you something about the last time I this happened this past week is when I drove to New Jersey a month ago or whatever it's been.
Yeah.
I was making my way up. I took some back roads, decided to go up the coast because we were going to go stop by Rehoboth. So we went up the Chesapeake Bridge Tunnel thing, went up that way. And this small little town I got pulled over in. And they gave me a ticket. And they gave me a ticket where they said I was going 72 and a 55.
Okay.
And to me, that didn't seem right. But how do you tell a cop you're wrong?
Right. He's the she said type situation.
They said,
did he say you have your radar? Did he get specific or was he trailing you?
He didn't say. But he said, I said, I was just following all the other cars, so I didn't even realize it. He said, well, I got you 72. I guess he might have said radar. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, whatever. I took the piece of paper. I stuck it in my glove box. And last week I decided, hey, I'm going to go ahead and go online and pay this thing.
Sure.
Because let's see, I got a bunch of letters from lawyers being like, hey, we'll go fight on your behalf. But I'm like,
Florida loves lawyers. So if you live in Florida.
All right. Well, it must be Virginia. And it's this one. And anyway, you have to go into the Virginia. And I don't know if you've gotten a speeding ticket in Virginia.
I have, because I went to college there.
All right. You have to log into like the exact courthouse of that little town. You can't just search the entire state. You have to narrow it down to like basically those 4 streets.
Yeah.
And go. So I do that, and I go in and I type Soroka into the search thing.
Oh no, my name popped up. No, what
Your
happened?
name did not come up. But my name was not the only name that came up.
Oh.
As our dad came up.
A John Soroka in there as well?
2 times before me. And here was the weird part. His ticket also said 72 and a 55.
Oh,
so do you think they just make this up?
You think it's a little bit of conspiracy there?
I think it's a little bit. What's the chances of us both running through this town, going with the flow of traffic, and getting pulled over? Yeah, and when I called my dad and said, I know what you did, and told him about how I looked this up, he said, I wasn't going that fast. They put that down, and there's no way I was doing that, which is the exact same thing I said.
Oh, no, it's a racket. Yeah, you guys are onto something.
And it's one of these little towns where the speed limit's like 65, and then they drop it drastically.
Oh, yeah, we get those all over Georgia.
Yeah, exactly. It's a whole speed trap thing.
Yeah.
And but it was very interesting to go in and see that Dad has been pulled over there twice in the past 5 years.
That's
before me.
It's like when there's always a time in high school where the high school has figured out they can look up anyone's kind of their whatever it is, their if they've ever been to court in Maryland or something. There's a
like the court records.
The court records.
I don't think that was available when I was in high school.
Yeah, well, it is now, and they search. There was a time I feel like every year where it just went around and figured out. So they just searched every teacher's name to see which teachers had shady past in courts.
Oh, I did not think about that. I guarantee every high schooler does that now. They Google their teachers.
Oh yeah.
And creep on their teachers. Of course they do.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, it's also why they would always find out I had a podcast without me telling them, because if you search my name, that's if you Google me.
Right. That's right. It was always what time of the year will they find out about the podcast?
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, speaking of time of year, this is one of my favorite times of year.
Trade deadline?
Love trade deadline stuff. Everyone on X is a GM. I love it so much. I'm a GM. I'm making moves left and right in my head. I'm driving to work and I made 4 trades already. I love it so much.
Yeah, and everyone's an expert. And when you combine that with manager hides the worst manager in baseball, now you're getting like each day predicted. And I love the trade watch. Oh, Urias got pulled last second. Clearly, we've traded him. Holiday got pulled from the game. We traded him.
Hey, did we ever find out what happened with Gunnar Henderson? Why he was not in the original lineup yesterday and then was in the lineup?
Yeah, he was supposed to have a regular day off, and then Urias had like a neck spasms or something.
Oh, okay.
Back pain, something like that.
Okay.
So that did come out yesterday evening.
Yeah. No, I really do enjoy this time of just speculating about trades that will never happen. But
I love my favorite of the trade speculations are when they take like 7 guys that suck and trade him for an all-star.
Yeah.
And they're like, this is an amazing trade. Who says no first? And it's like, what? No.
Yeah.
No one is going to even answer the phone for those 7 guys.
Yeah. I always like it when people propose trades on X and then you scroll down, and this happens every time, where a fan of the one team says, if you called and offered that deal, the GM would laugh in your face and hang up. And then from the opposing team, they say almost the exact same thing. So somehow both GMs are laughing in the other GM's face about how ridiculous this trade is.
You know, I like that idea. I like the idea that we get Mike Elias on this podcast and we just present to him trades we saw on Twitter. Who hangs up first? And then we're like, all right, Mike, real quick, we've got a trade. This one's going to involve you and the Pirates. We call up the Pirates GM. Let's get him on. Now, you don't have to commit to this trade, but here's what it is. Who laughs first?
Yeah.
It's kind of like those dad jokes where the 2 guys just stare at each other and try to make each other laugh. We do that with the Twitter trades.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good idea. I doubt that when someone offers, for Tariq Skubal, we'll get into him.
Yes.
When they offer him, let's say Kobe Mayo and someone else, to which someone said the GM would laugh. I don't think people are laughing in other GMs' faces or laughing on the phone line during these trade talks. I don't think that's how it works. I think you feel each other out and you talk about potential ideas and who's available, who's not available. There's not a lot of laughter going on. I think.
No. I think there's a lot of conversations trying to understand what you're looking for, what you're thinking about before an actual offer is made.
Right.
It's not like you're playing Settlers of Catan, sitting at the table with all the other GMs saying, I got a pitcher. Who's got an outfield arm for me? I need an outfield guy with a good arm.
Right. And even if you propose an outfield arm that you don't like, I don't think you're laughing at that person. You're
not laughing.
Because you're not offering. I'll counter.
You're not offering guys that will not help the other team.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at a guy like those 7 guys that were like, oh, they suck, you don't get anything for them. One of them might be in a package with 4 other prospects, but only because everyone knows that guy could help this year on this team.
Yeah. I mean, that's another reason I really like the trade deadline. There's just so many interesting ways to go about it, right? Like, what would you like? So, I mean, Scooble has been the kind of the talk of the town, and
Yes.
I don't think he's getting traded. But
No.
it's interesting to talk about it in terms of like, would you rather give up Basayo and Mayo, right? Two top prospects.
Yeah.
Or would you
Holiday.
rather give up, Fabian and Bradfield and Beavers and McDermott and throw in like five good prospects? And I don't know, like from the Tigers' perspective too, would you rather have an elite prospect or three good prospects? I think about the trade for Manny Machado. That I would go back to that one where that was kind of a lose for both teams for the most part.
Right.
But
we got one guy that stuck, right?
Yeah, Dean Kramer. And he was not the headline of that trade
but it was another one of these trades where let's throw five guys in there and they're all prospects. And again, on the Orioles side, you're saying like, well, if two of these guys hit, we're okay.
Yeah, I mean, Yusniel Diaz was the only top 100 prospect that came back in the Machado trade, and he never worked out at all. He never really made.
He never even looked good here.
Yeah, and Dean Kramer's the only one that stuck. So maybe that's an argument for going with kind of quantity over quality. But the other thing that, like, we just gotta get straight, and I think people have lost their minds.
They always do. Every trade deadline. And here's the problem.
Well, I like it. I like it too. I like the losing the minds. And maybe I'm crazy because I just see this thing a little bit different than everybody else.
It's been so long since we've been in this position as Oriole fans, where we've never truly been positioned like this, where we have a team that's playoff bound this season and has great projections for the next 5 years. We've never been in that position. Yeah. So we don't know how to handle it as a fan base.
Well, and we know that we have the number one farm system in baseball. So if we wanted a guy, we can out trade anybody. Like we have better assets to trade than anybody. So if we want him, we get him. I mean, if we want Scobel bad enough, we could get him. There's no question about it. But I just want to address this because just one specific player, Jackson Holliday. So yes. Jackson Holliday got caught up and had a rough go of it. And
people are ready to write him off.
People are talking about Jackson Holliday like he's had a terrible season in the minors. I just want to pause here to say that Jackson Holliday's OPS is 948, which would put him only behind Gunnar Henderson if he was on the Orioles right now. He's walked 74 times compared to striking out 69 times. So at 20 years old, where the average age is 26, at 20 years old at AAA, he's walked more than he struck out. He has an on-base percentage, a silly on-base percentage of 448. I mean, that's just silly. And so this talk that he is somehow washed up. He has 24 doubles at Norfolk this year, 10 home runs, so 34 extra base hits in 67 games. So this idea that somehow he's been a disappointment. I mean, that is, for a 20-year-old in AAA doing that is mind-blowing for anyone except for Jackson Holliday, because the expectation for Jackson Holliday is that he should be a Hall of Famer at 20, when really he's having a really, really good year at Norfolk for any age, but especially for a 20-year-old. So this idea that we would trade Jackson Holliday for Scobel or for anyone else, I think is insane. And any trade that involves Holliday, I don't even listen to you because you're insane. Holliday is not being traded.
No, in fact, it's more of Holliday's going to come up in the next 2 weeks.
Oh, you think so? Before Mayo?
I think Holliday ends up coming up early August. I think right after the trade deadline, I think you end up finding a way to bring both these guys up.
Yeah. I mean, I'm curious. I mean, that's the other. I mean, this is all so fascinating. We haven't really got into the specifics, which I do. I want to get some specifics on who the Orioles should pursue and what they should pursue. But it feels like somehow could Mike Elias use the trade deadline to kind of unclog this pipeline backup where Mayo and Holliday should be here, but there's no room for them right now. Is there a way to make that work? And I saw just right before the show, I was, I always do what I did. I Google Orioles and news, and it's all trade talks.
And it's half written by AI.
Yeah, well, this one by Sports Illustrated is definitely written by AI, right? Doesn't
we've been down the AI Sports Illustrated path.
And it said the headline is Orioles reportedly had conversations about trading their all-star outfielder. And you hear that
Santander.
A lot. Reportedly had conversations, and it's not Santander. And there's another article.
Who's our other all-star outfielder? Cedric Mullins?
Yeah, Cedric Mullins. And there's another article that says Orioles spicy proposed blockbuster lands game-changing outfield star, which
these
again
are all fake.
Refers to Cedric Mullins.
Why am I not writing these articles? Why aren't we writing Section 336 articles just making stuff up?
You don't think, but I mean, the Cedric Mullins move, if you traded Cedric Mullins.
No, I think
it would make room for Kjerstad and Stowers, and it would.
No, maybe... I think you definitely look at Hayes, Mullins, Urias, Mateo, these guys that are quality everyday players that are in the way of stars. You definitely look at, because suddenly you bring in an arm, because we all know the Orioles are going after pitching, whether it's bullpen or starting.
This article actually proposed that we could use Luis Roberts Jr. from the White Sox center fielder as an upgrade to our center field position.
No, because the whole point is you clear some of the clog, you bring up a young guy who can do just as good of a job as the current player, and you bring in an arm, and it's like you've done nothing but improve without taking a step back. Yeah, I don't think you would look at bringing in a position player.
Yeah. I think the problem with that obviously is
it doesn't
that throws off a little bit of how this works, right? Because normally if you're trading with someone, that team is going through a rebuild, or that team is trying to get better in 4 or 5 years, right? Like the White Sox aren't trying to compete next year.
Right.
So this would involve a Mullins trade.
Mullins trade is a bubble team this year. Where it's like, we need an outfielder, you need a pitcher. You're not going to get anything huge, but here's someone that can help in your bullpen.
Yeah. I mean, it could be a situation where I saw, what was the name? The Dodgers just released a pitcher, which is interesting because I heard them linked to a starting pitcher in the trade deadline. But I think it was James Paxton that they just DFA'd. And a lot of people were talking about, could the Orioles potentially try to trade for James Paxton, as he goes through the DFA process. And so, I mean, Cedric Mullins, I think, would be too high of a price, obviously, but maybe something like that where they have an excess in an area. So that's possible. Anything's possible. Would you support the Orioles trading a veteran, whether it be Mullins or Hayes?
I would be
okay because there's youth there.
Yeah, and I see Cody's
when you're trying to win a World Series this year,
right? And that's Cody's in the chat saying you can't trade away Urias, or it would go for any of these veterans who is proven to go to an unproven guy like Mayo when you're making a playoff run.
I mean, we saw what happened to his point. We saw what happened when Dax Halliday was called up. Struggled immediately, right?
We did.
That could be Mayo.
Totally. It could be. But I think we've also seen how this team is built, where that we do not have one player that is carrying this team. So I think you can afford to take a slight gamble there as long as you improve somewhere else. So, like, if I can improve my starting pitching or my bullpen, if I can improve my pitching, I can afford to take a little step back with giving Mayo a chance. Of course, if Mayo struggles, I still have Mateo there to help out defensively. And I would look at those guys to come in as, again, I'm not expecting you to carry the team. I'm expecting you to get comfortable and be a small part.
Yeah, it feels like a tricky situation. And to your point, with Cedric Mullins' home run against the Rangers, we now have 8 players that have 10 home runs or more. Double home runs are crazy.
And none of those guys are have a chance of being traded. But Urias has a chance because you've got Gunnar, you've got Westberg. So really, we saw Westberg on Sunday playing third base, which is nice to see, which means Could you take a risk and put Holiday or Mayo at second? I would have no problem whatsoever if tomorrow they bring Holiday up and he starts playing at second base. I'm not worried about it. We'll be okay.
What about, like, I think in terms of team chemistry, team culture, like, you trade away a guy, and I think the Orioles are not even considering it, but you trade a guy like Austin Hayes away or something, or a veteran, Ramon Urias to a lesser extent. I mean, that could impact the clubhouse. Like, what are you doing trading away a veteran guy of a really good team?
It could, but you also know that when a guy struggles, the whole team knows he's struggling. And we always know that change of scenery always works out well for players.
But who's struggling, Josh? Ramon Urias really isn't struggling.
No, and Urias isn't really struggling. Mateo's not really struggling. Even Hayes and Mullins, I wouldn't even classify them as struggling right now. But I think people see that we have Kowser that we got to get in this outfield. I think players understand the backlog. I think players understand the future is bright for all these guys. And I think the players see that for one of these veterans, a change of scenery also means a chance to play that position longer and be the star on another team in 4 years, where all these guys are going to have pressure on them going into spring training. So, yeah, it sucks if suddenly you go from a playoff team to I'm not making the playoffs. And that sucks, and no one ever wants to be in that position. But it's unfortunately where we're at, that someone's getting traded this year from the Orioles.
Yeah, I mean, certainly if you're a younger player like Kyle Stowers, if I'm Kyle Stowers, I'm like, trade me. Because Kyle Stowers feels like he should be an everyday outfielder right now, and he can't be with the Orioles. But there's a bunch of teams I feel like Kyle Stowers could be.
And he's been around enough that he'll get a ring if the Orioles make it.
Right. I mean, not to be around long to get a ring.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm fascinated to see how this works out, because I also think, like, if the goal is to win a World Series, I don't care that I really don't care about Mateo's batting average at all, because
I want the speed.
Right. He's not going to start.
But do you think
in the playoffs?
Do you think Ramon?
So if I'm building, as I'm also looking at the trade deadline, I'm thinking about, what do I want for a playoff roster?
Yes. And I think Mateo's not being traded because of that.
Yeah.
Mateo's who you want on your bench. I
also feel good about Ramon Urias and that veteran leadership. He seems to be kind of clutch, sneaky pop, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. But is he comfortable in a platoon role?
What's that?
Or is he happy in a platoon role? Or would he like that change of scenery as well?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how many teams Ramon Urias is an everyday player for.
He's a Gold Glove somehow.
Yeah. Okay. What are you, announcer for the Orioles? Who can't mention he's in the Gold Glove without can't mention his name without saying it's Gold Glove. Yeah. So I just think it's going to be really interesting. To find out. I mean, the whole Kyle Stowers and Kjerstad, where they called up Kyle Stowers and then he wasn't playing enough, so they called up Kjerstad.
Yes.
And then Kjerstad played a little bit more, and then Kjerstad got concussed, and then Kyle Stowers got his chance again. But barring a concussion, I don't see Kyle Stowers getting another shot here in the majors.
Right.
And I just don't envision, without injury, and injuries always happen, but they happen less with position players. I just don't see where Mayo and Holiday fit while maintaining this team that you have. And this team is certainly good enough to win right now offensively. So it's not like you need to make the move. No, so maybe you just wait, and and you have that depth there if you need it.
No, I totally agree. That's what makes it hard, is that we know that's why I say I see these guys coming up after the trade deadline, because I assume the Orioles do something about the clog as well. Now, they might clear the clog by trading Coby Mayo. That would do it. Yeah. So I think there's something. When's the trade deadline? Is it the 30th?
July 31st.
At midnight, right? Yeah. Or 4 p.m. Is this one of these?
Oh, yeah. They switched it. I think it's at 4 p.m.
That's what it was the other day.
And no, and like if last year is any indication what's going to happen this year, there's be no action.
That's what I was going to ask you. When do you think the action starts?
July 30th. That's when the action starts.
You think this is one of those days where it's the day of?
I mean, I was listening to today.
All right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Trades will no longer be permitted after July 30th at 6 p.m.
Okay, 6 p.m. July 30th. Okay, got it. I was listening to Chris Young, the GM of the Rangers today, an interview he did in Texas, because I want to know, are the Rangers going to be sellers? Do we have any chance at a Scherzer or Navalny or something? Because they got a lot of good players. And so I listened to an interview with their GM that they did this morning or yesterday evening. And the first question is about the series against the Orioles. Yeah. And he said, man, that offense and that team is good. And we knew they were good, but we want our offense to be like their offense. So that was pretty high praise by their GM. And he compared it to last year. Like that was us last year. We want to get back to what we were doing last year. But he said that he wants to be buyers. Like the Rangers want to be buyers, but right now it's hard to where the record is, but they're waiting because if they go on a little streak here in the next week, they will turn into buyers. And so he was non-committal. I saw the Cubs today came out and said they're not going to be buyers. And so a lot of people said, oh, Justin Steele, a pitcher for the Cubs, be perfect fit for the Orioles. But the Cubs aren't trading Justin Steele. Just because you said you're not buyers doesn't mean you're selling. And the Cubs want to win next year. Like they're not burning this thing to the ground. And Justin Steele's under contract for 3 more years. So he's not being traded. So I think even teams who aren't, if you're the Cubs or if you're the Nationals, you want to be good in 1 or 2 years. Even the Tigers. Like the Tigers, I know a lot of people talking about trading Skubal, and maybe they're saying there were scouts from the Detroit at the Norfolk Tides game.
That's a Tide game.
Yeah, and I believe it, but also they're not going to trade Skubal unless the offer is great because they don't need to and they want to win next year. And they're not going to trade unless they get some impact players back.
Remember, they don't just have Skubal that then Tigers want to trade.
Right, there's other players.
They have Flaherty.
Yeah,
for starting pitching, and they've got that Andrew Chafin, the reliever.
Yeah, sure. Every team's got a reliever.
Yeah. Well, tell me when the Athletics send their scouts to go watch Norfolk or the Marlins so we can talk some Mason Miller, Tanner Scott. Those are more relievers I'm interested in.
Yeah. Mason Miller is interesting and Garrett Crochet is interesting because some of these guys have complex injury histories too and innings limits they're pushing up against. It's all very complex. Josh, I've been thinking about this a lot. And I have my stance on the trade deadline, my approach that I want the Orioles to take.
Okay.
And it's this. If you have more than a year of control, if you have more than the rest of the season, I'm not that interested. I might dabble and say, Skubal, what will it take? But I'm not that interested.
Because
I want rentals.
You want rentals. You're saying next year we get some pitchers back.
No, we don't get pitchers back. Everyone's hurt.
Batista
Wells
back.
isn't back. Means is a free agent. He's not back.
Batista.
No one's back.
We get Batista back.
We get Batista back. We get Rodriguez back. And Kramer back. That's it. Everyone else.
Right. That's right. And we don't have Burns.
Yeah, we don't have Burns.
Skubal, what do you want? You want Mayo and Holiday? Let's go.
No, I'm serious though. I only want rentals, and here's why. Couple reasons.
You don't want to pay.
One, the cost of years of control is insane. People want more for Skubal than we paid for Corbin Burns, right? Because Skubal has the years of, and Burns only had 1 year, and this guy has 2.5 years, and so they want more for it. No, and Burns is a better pitcher.
Right. You want a rental to get you to the postseason, and then you're going to spend in free agency is what you're looking at.
Boom. I would not say this last year, but now we have new ownership. We have new ownership who can open up the checkbooks. Despite reports, we can re-sign Corbin Burns if we want to.
We got a fancy new sign up there.
For
T. Rowe Price.
T. Rowe Price.
Yeah, we can pay money now.
I haven't. Have you seen the sign? Is it in that heinous baby blue still?
I don't know. I saw the pictures online, and I stared at them so many times, being like, "This is AI, or is this a real photo?"
Okay.
I'm like, "Is this a real photo, or did someone just make AI and take this picture?" And the sun's all weird in it. I assume it's real, but it's only one photo going around of it.
Oh, really? I haven't seen that photo. But anyway, we're gonna have the money. So let's just get through this year, try to win World Series, because to get guys with more than a half year control, a year, 2 years control, your Justin Steeles, your Scoobles, it's going to cost you multiple top prospects. And
Correct.
I don't think we should be in the business of trading multiple top prospects for a couple of reasons. One, these prospects, for all the reasons that they're wonderful, they're inexpensive, they're highly talented, and also in the offseason, we can make trades too in the offseason, and the price drops down dramatically in the offseason. Whatever Scooble costs now, he costs a lot less in the offseason because there's less teams competing for him, a half less share control. And so I want more bullets, if you will, in my chamber if we want to pursue someone in the offseason or next trade deadline. There's no we shouldn't be panicked to make a trade. Also, I don't want to I just want to add small pieces into this year because I think our team is really good. I think we're one really good starting pitcher away and a reliever away, maybe two relievers.
I would like.
I don't want to get too wild with it.
No, I agree. I would like a reliever that I have full confidence in when he comes in. It's been a while since I have trusted our bullpen. 100%.
Yeah.
And I want a guy like we had with Batista, where it's like, oh, the game's over. We talk all the time about shortening your game. When we had Cano, Firing, and Batista, the game was short. We shortened that game.
Well, it's not just that, because we also had Coulomb and pitching really well.
Yes.
Like, my concern too is even before we get to Cano and Kimbrel, even if you have issues with that back end of Cano and Kimbrel, which understandably you do, it's even concerns getting to them, right? Like, how many times can Webb pitch? Like, it's even concerns. Like, I want to be able to shorten the game where we can go, 7, 8, 9, but we don't have a seventh in the guy, especially with Coulomb out. We don't really have a seventh in the guy we can count on either. I have no confidence in Perez or in Aiken, and so, or whoever else is Smith, whoever else is in there for a week. We need a better solution there. So, but I think we can do that with rentals. I think, and if you do rentals, you don't need to give up a Basayo, a Holiday, or a Mayo. Those three guys, and I don't want to give them up. I want to give up Stowers. Honestly, I want to give up Norby. Because we were talking about, well, where's the path for Mayo and Holiday? With Norby, I view him kind of as the third rank of those infielders. I view him as third. So if you don't have room for Mayo or Holiday, there's no room for Norby. There's just not. And so I think Stour, you almost take the reverse approach, not like who is the top guy in the market, and then let's put a package for him. Like, what can we get? Here's what we have in terms of our money. Well, we have Stowers and we have Norby. What's the most we can get for that?
And that's why
reliever or starter can we get for that?
Yeah, and that's where I'm kind of surprised that the Orioles have not made a move yet for Tanner Scott. Because
I don't think Marlins have no motivation to make a move now.
They must not, because the Marlins already started making moves back in May, where they were trading parts away. And he's a free agent at the end of the year, so it's a rental. So it's not going to cost you a whole lot. And it seems like an easy move to get some depth in that bullpen.
Now, what did we trade Tanner Scott for?
What do we give up for Tanner Scott?
No. Like, when we traded Tanner Scott, what did we trade him?
Oh, you want to just get like a? What do you think they're saying?
Can we just do a trade back? Whatever we did.
Let's see, Scott, Orioles trade. Let's see.
No, I think it's. I mean, I think that's definitely a move. But again, there's so many buyers in the market right now that I think every day there's just going to be, like, in terms of a reliever, there's going to be 10 teams trying to get a reliever. Right. And Michael Elias pointed this out last year with Jorge Lopez, or 2 years ago with Jorge Lopez, where the cost of a relief pitching in terms of trade capital goes up 1,000,000,000% at the trade deadline for relievers. That's why we traded Jorge Lopez, and we got an immense return for Jorge Lopez, which never worked out. And so now we're on the reverse side of this, where we're probably going to give up too much for a reliever, just like someone did for Jorge Lopez.
Yeah. All right. So in 2022, we traded Tanner Scott and Cole Sulser to the Marlins.
Okay.
And in return, we got the stars: Antonio Velez, left-handed pitcher, and outfielder Kevin Guerrero. And
okay. Are those guys still in our system? These are younger guys,
to be
right?
named later.
Okay.
These are two guys that, outside of this article, I have never heard of.
Yeah, we need to find out if Antonio Velez and Kevin Guerrero, can they still be, and who that later was.
Kevin Guerrero is with the Delmarva Shorebirds.
Okay, so we can give him back.
We could give him back. He currently has a .231 batting average.
Okay, still young.
Let's see. Yeah, he's still young. Let's see. We could definitely trade him back. And now let me look up who's the other guy? Antonio Velez. Let's see where he is. I like your idea of just calling up the Marlins and saying, "Hey, we'll trade you back." All right, this guy is also an Iron Bird at the moment. He has a 4.04 ERA, 13 wins, 13 losses. Oh, he has been released.
Okay.
So we cannot trade him back.
Okay. Well, so here's where it gets a little bit trickier.
That's a little tricky.
Yeah, but here's where it gets even trickier, Josh.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm looking this up right. I think I'm looking this up right.
The player to be named later? Are you figuring out who that is?
No, I'm not figuring out the player to be named later. I'm not even trying. But part of that trade, Josh, you forgot to mention was the Orioles got a 2022 draft pick, competitive balance B round. I don't know what that means. So what number would that be? Would that be the second pick in the second round or the second pick in the first round? I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Because they got 2 picks in the first round. They got the number 1 overall pick in that draft where they drafted Jackson Holliday. And then they got a competitive balance pick, which was number 33 overall, where they drafted Dylan Beavers. Or it might be they got that in the second round because they got an extra pick in the second round where they drafted Judd Fabian with their extra pick.
We will give them
so it's either Dylan Beavers or Judd Fabian that also has to go back in the deal.
We will have to give them no, we'll just give them another draft pick. I have not been able to find yet who the player to be named later is.
Okay. Because I think that's actually, if you add Judd Fabian in there, I think that's a pretty good deal for the Marlins.
I found the
trade that you trade originally. I think Marlins might do that. Might just do a retrade.
All right, Yaki Rivera is the relief pitcher who was the player to be named later.
Okay.
He is currently pitching in Aberdeen as well. And let's see. He has a ERA of 2.48. Not too bad.
Yeah. All right. I'd say we call the Marlins. We say, will you do the same trade?
Same trade. Yeah.
You get all your players back. It's almost like you got 3 years of or 2 years of Tanner Scott for free. And we develop your guys for you. Probably you're better off for us.
Maybe we'll just ignore the draft pick. Because remember,
I'm okay with ignoring the draft pick. I kind of like
was part of that trade
also. Yeah,
because you did get Cole Sulser, so we'll just say he was for the draft pick, and we'll give you these 2 young guys back.
Yeah, I don't think Cole Sulser lasted there. Whatever happened to Cole Sulser?
I don't know. Let me continue my baseball reference search.
Yeah,
and see what
that's the
Cole
guy.
Sulser is doing.
How many teams did Cole Sulser played on? That guy's played on. He's got a jersey, quite the collection of jerseys. I bet. I just bet he's played on 10 teams. That Cole Sulser. So good.
Well, let's see. He's currently on the New York Mets. It looks like.
That sounds right. A lot of Orioles end up there somehow.
We traded him to Miami. Then he went to the Diamondbacks, and now he is with the Mets. And of course, before us, he was with Tampa.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and if you look at, I mean, you can go a lot of places for this, but
a
MLB Trade Rumors has the
Mets.
top 50 trade candidates, and Tanner Scott's
Cody
number
is
4 on
saying
that list.
the Mets DFA'd Saucer 7 hours ago.
Oh, they did.
So
sorry, Saucer.
So we can pick him up and trade him to the Marlins again.
Yeah, he can be part of the deal. He can be part of that deal.
It's
If
just the
if that
circle
gets over
of
the finish
baseball.
line, let's get it done. Another team that's kind of interesting, I'm curious to see how they approach the trade deadline, is the Rays. Because the Rays, sneaky 500. Sneaky 500. Hanging around 500.
The whole AL East is tricky, except for the Blue Jays, because you can make a case for any of them making a playoff push.
Yeah, and the Blue Jays should trade Vladimir Guerrero, but I don't know if they will.
I think they will.
Yeah. We'll see. Yeah, I'm curious. I mean, I would love talking about players I would love. You mentioned Mason Miller. Like I would love some Pete Fairbanks, the Rays closer. I would love him in my bullpen. Now he's another guy that's got, I think, a couple years under control, so I think he'd be really expensive. But if the Rays go on this sell-off, that's a guy I'd be really interested in. But yeah, I think, I mean, every bad team is going to have a reliever to sell, whether it's your Andrew Chafin, as you mentioned before, or the closer for the Angels is good. Like his name, Carlos Estevez, he's good. And so, yeah, I certainly the Orioles, they'll be competitive in terms of there'll be a lot of competitions for these closers, especially the top closers. I think the price will be a little bit steep, as they always are for bullpen help, steeper than they should be. But certainly there's no reason the Orioles shouldn't walk away with at least one upgraded reliever, if not two.
Yeah. Do you realize that the trade deadline is so close that in our next episode, we will recap the trade deadline? That's how close we are.
On Monday? No. Monday
the
be the
trade deadline
29th.
ends on Tuesday. There's no way we're doing a show on Monday.
The trade deadline?
Saying, no, there's no point in doing a show on Monday to talk about the trade deadline. That's going to happen.
I think that'd be a fun show.
Oh, well, we might, but I'll tell you, if we do a show on Monday, we're going to also be doing a show on Tuesday, because the Orioles are going to make some type of move on Tuesday.
Because on Monday you'll have, I just mentioned the Rangers before and the Rays. I think we'll have a much better idea of who's out there.
Now I know
there hasn't been even in this. I mean, it's not a whole lot of even trade rumors out there. I mean, besides the Detroit Tigers having guys who are scouting, there hasn't been a whole lot of rumors.
No,
in terms of trade.
No, it's been very quiet because there's been so many bubble teams that were probably waiting, like the Rangers, waiting for this weekend to see how we play. And the Rangers didn't pitch well. So now they suddenly might be sellers. I think there's a lot of bubble teams like that trying to decide what side they're on.
Well, I just mentioned the Cubs too, announcing that they're not going to be buyers.
Now, Matt, you're headed to Miami for a few days.
I am. Yeah.
I need you to take that microphone with you.
Okay.
In case we have to do an emergency podcast.
Why would we have to do an emergency podcast?
If the Orioles make a move.
Okay. Again, I don't think anything's happening.
You're saying nothing's going to happen until the 30th. Yeah. I think we need to be ready any day this week for something to happen.
All right. I'll be ready.
Be on hug watch.
All right. Do I need to check the Norfolk lineup every night?
No, those are the people that are crazy online.
Yeah, you got to be careful too, because Jack Holiday, he's kind of coming back from a shoulder thing, so he's getting rest every now and then.
Yep, they're taking
careful
it easy.
Jack Holiday watch.
Right. No, but I'm just saying, be prepared, because we might have to cop on and do an emergency podcast, or we might have to do a show Monday and Tuesday night.
Judge, do you buy what I'm selling? That even though we have holes in our starting rotation galore, that we should not be, and even though we have prospects galore, too many prospects to fit, that we should go for just short-term rentals, that we shouldn't go all in.
The only thing
Justin Steele or Tariq Skubal.
The only one I can see going with a long-term deal is if you give me a guy like Skubal, a star starting pitcher, all-star level starting pitcher.
Yeah, he would go in. I mean, he would go in, I think, right behind Burns. Like, he would be above Rodriguez.
Yes, and he would go in. He'd be your opening day pitcher next year.
Right. Opening pitch
He's the
next
top of
year.
your rotation next year.
In terms of playoffs this year, that's
Right.
I'm all about playoffs. You can run with 3 and you got a strong 3. And you can dream on it. And that's why people get excited and dream on it. But I'm telling you, the Tigers have no motivation because they're good enough to be competitive next year. And, he's still in a contract for next year. There's no motivation for them to trade him this year. And so they won't.
Right.
Unless you're blown away. And I don't want to blow them away.
And the only thing I focus on, and I've said it a million times on this podcast, is that our B and C level talent for other farm systems is A level talent. So the depth helps us with some of that.
Like if I called up Detroit and I said, and here's what I would do, I would say, I'll give you Basayo, I'll give you Stowers. I wanted to save Norby for reliever, so I'm not going to give you Norby. But maybe we can talk about a mid-level prospect to add to the Stowers Basayo. And I would do that. I would say that's it. And we can negotiate that mid-level guy. And I think the Tigers probably say, you know what? No, we don't want that. Even though Basayo is an elite prospect. And I don't think the Tigers will do better than that. I would be shocked if the Tigers do better than Basayo, Stowers, and someone else. Right. But if you read on X, I was looking at it, several Tiger fans said the deal starts with Basayo and Mayo and then other pieces.
Yeah.
It's not happening. We're not trading 2 of our top prospects for one pitcher. It's not going to happen.
But do you remember what we as Oriole fans thought we should get for Manny Machado?
Well, and we fumbled the bag with Manny Machado, right?
We did.
And that's what I'm concerned about the Tigers. Don't fumble the bag. Like, don't keep on holding on to a guy because the deal's not perfect. And we could have gotten much better deals from the Dodgers and other teams if we would have traded them, begin the season or whatever,
right?
As opposed to waiting to the deadline.
The Tigers have shown bright spots where you could make the argument that the Tigers will fight for the division next year.
Yes.
And would want Skubal.
Yes. Yeah, I think you can make that case.
So,
they've been aggressive in free agency, the Tigers, spending money. So, yeah, I think you can make that case.
I was trying to, here is justbaseball.com and their Detroit Tigers writer. Here is what this guy says the Tigers would receive for a Skubal trade. And tell me, back to how we started this episode, who hangs up first or who laughs? The Orioles receive Tarik Skubal. That's it.
I'm listening. Okay.
This guy says this is the bare minimum that the Tigers would likely entertain for Skubal. This package offers the Tigers 3 players that will start for them next season, as well as a promising outfield prospect. Here is who they say is.
First of all, can we think about that for a pitcher with a couple years of control?
Yes.
You're going to give them 3 everyday players.
3 everyday players.
That on its face seems a little much, but okay, go ahead. I'm listening. I'm still listening.
Cade Povich.
Okay, yeah. I can live with that.
Judd Fabian.
Okay, I can live with that.
Heston Kjerstad. And here's where I'm out. Jordan Westburg.
Oh, stop.
Yeah,
stop.
Exactly. A guy that should have been an all-star this year.
Josh, this is what I understand.
He was a late ad.
This is why I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. If you said Skubal for Westburg straight up, I feel like let's have a debate. Like straight up. Forget about Kjerstad and Fabian. Like just one-on-one. Let's have a conversation about that. But when you add all the other guys, like that's his nonsense talk.
Well, this guy
Westburg isn't even a prospect now. Like Westburg is a contributing major league, one of the best major league hitters in baseball. Get out of here.
And this guy understands that. So he's offered some other options.
Okay.
Option 2. The Orioles get Skubal. The Tigers get Seth Johnson.
Okay.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Heston Kjerstad.
Why are you bringing Heston into this thing again? I don't like that, but okay. I'm still listening. I'm not hanging up yet. I'm not laughing.
Connor Norby.
Okay, I'm not laughing yet either. I'm not hanging up.
And Samuel Basello.
Yeah, there's the guy. Yeah, they want 2. They want 2. You can't have 2. You can't have Kjerstad and Basayo. You can't have Basayo and Mayo. You can't have 2. And maybe the Tigers won't do it for 2. Very reasonably. They might say, listen, we like him too much. We're trying to win. We're not doing it for 2. Fine.
But
you're not going to get 2 top 50 prospects from anybody. You're not going to get it, dude.
All right. Well, that guy's okay. He says, don't worry. He goes, If I was the Tigers, here's what I would push for this package. And he does say, I don't believe the Orioles will take this, but I would push for this. The Orioles get Skubal. The Tigers get Justin Armbruster. I'm okay with that.
Okay, done deal.
Connor Norby.
Okay, I'm still deal. Done deal. Let's do it.
Samuel Basello.
Okay, maybe. We can talk.
And Jackson Holiday.
Okay, see, there you get stupid. Again,
this is ridiculous.
I would, Josh, honestly, I would, doing the whole laugh in your face thing. This is why,
Yeah.
I don't understand. Like, maybe I'm missing something. Skubal for Holiday. I won't even entertain it.
No, and this is a
We have potential
Tigers
future
writer.
Hall of Famer.
This is a guy who's
I'm
serious.
not even entertaining that deal. Let alone all the other guys.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like I'm taking crazy pills sometimes when I read these trade talks.
Yeah, he says a trade for Skubal would give the Orioles the best playoff rotation in baseball. It also would upgrade the bullpen by sending Suarez there full time and out of the rotation.
No
But
doubt.
he also says overall, the likelihood of a deal being completed is probably less than 1% because the Orioles would have to be pretty aggressive. And I don't see any need for the Orioles to be aggressive this year.
There's no need for it. There's no need.
No.
For it. Yeah, and there's no. Here's a problem. Like the rentals, the reason you get good deals on the rentals is because those teams need to trade them.
Right.
They
and
need
you
to
got to
trade.
remember,
You get nothing back.
they are
if you don't trade
marketing,
them.
right, and they are marketing Skubal as you're trading for a Cy Young pitcher.
Yes.
He's not Cy Young yet, but he's a Cy Young.
Cy Young
hopeful.
with multiple years. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't see it happening. I don't see
it happening either. I think we maybe Flaherty comes back. I think maybe we get a fourth or fifth starter that lets us put Suarez back in the bullpen. That's about it.
I think maybe is it Eric Fetty or something like that. I think that's more likely.
I think Tanner Scott is more likely, not with the trades we talked about, but I think a guy like back into the bullpen, Mason Miller, more likely. I do not see any world where Skubal becomes an Oriole.
Yeah, I don't think he becomes anyone because
I think he's.
If that's the price that they're talking about for the Orioles, I don't know how any of the team even comes close to that. But without completely decimating their farm system,
right?
So
with the Dodgers, it started with Soto. I saw.
I don't know who that is.
Juan Soto.
Juan Soto's for the Yankees. What are you talking about?
Oh, yeah. Then I pulled up the wrong thing. Maybe that was an off-season thing. You're right. Soto is with the Yankees. What did I see? I saw something about the Dodgers.
I mean, Skubal has been linked to the Dodgers. The Dodgers are looking to upgrade there, but they're also in a weird situation where they have Glass now coming back from injury, and so they got a lot of, I think, starters coming back from injury now that they're hoping works out. So
right.
Yankees are looking for everybody. Yankees are going to be looking for starters, position players. Yankees will be looking for Yankees could trade for like
Vlad,
4 or 5 guys.
I would bet money on Vlad going to the Yankees.
Really? Because the Yankees are in an interesting position where I think they overperformed in the first half. Now they're back to kind of maybe underperforming. They're probably somewhere in the middle there. But they have the type of fan base that maybe you panic and you trade for 3 or 4 pieces because this is the last year of Juan Soto. So you try to go all in. And so I'm curious to see what the Yankees. I just love this time of year. I love this time of year in terms of the trade deadline.
I'm ready for the trade deadline to be over. Get past the rumors.
Let's drag this thing out. Hot stove.
Let's get past the rumors. Let's go to realistic and real life and start planning on the postseason.
Hey, a quick travel ball update. I shared Dallas tried out for travel ball.
Oh, I signed up to coach again this week, yesterday.
Okay. Dallas did not make the travel ball team. I was shocked he didn't make the team. He handled it better than I did. He was just like, okay, that's fine. I'm just a petty person, Josh. And
you want to see these other kids now.
I want to see, because I wasn't at the original tryout. I was just at the makeup tryouts. And Sass was twice as good as anyone else.
Yeah.
And I'm biased because he's my son, obviously.
Yep.
So I'm angry. And this travel ball team is associated with our rec league too. Like it's associated with the rec league.
Right.
So now I want nothing to do with the rec league. I don't want to coach. I don't really want to be in this rec league. I want nothing to do with them because I'm spiteful and I'm mad about it.
Yeah. You're going to go check out this team.
Well, we've already signed up, Josh, for tryouts for the rival Macon travel ball team. First of all, I didn't realize that there's so many travel ball teams.
Who is it? Is it Prime? Who's the rival?
No, it's not Showtime. Oh, it's the Factory. They're just called the Factory.
The Factory. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Good. Take them all down. Burn the city down.
Yeah, and so and Silas is amazing because I'm angry and I'm bitter.
I thought you didn't want to do travel ball.
What's that?
I thought you didn't want to do travel ball.
No, I didn't. I'm happy because I don't want to pay the $500.
But now you're ticked.
But I'm mad because he should have been there. He should have been. I can't believe that there was 12 kids better than him at the age of 7. I can't. I refuse to believe it. And so we're going to do the rival team. He's going to make it. And Silas is not angry. He was like fine with it. But I told him, hey, like there's another team if you want to come out. He's like, yeah. And then every day he said, Dad, I want to go outside and do. He said he thinks one of the reasons he didn't make the team is because he didn't catch any of the fly balls. You know, they hit him fly balls.
Right.
But no one catches fly balls at 7. But whatever. And so we've been doing fly balls every day to prepare for tryouts. So he's had a great attitude about it. He's like, oh, I want to get better. So
good.
You know,
that's awesome.
So he's handled it really well. I've handled it less well.
No, but him having that's the type of attitude that's going to help him way long term. If he gets out there and wants to be better to make it next time, that's going to help him for his entire career in baseball. Yeah.
And at 7U, it's dumb. There's only there's like travel ball teams everywhere, but not very many do 7U. Like they start at 8U for the most part. 7U.
I sent an email to my assistant coach this week, or maybe it was a text message. Anyway, I said, all right, I'm signed up. Let's do it again together. I said, however, these kids we're now playing 11U ball. We're taking this serious.
Oh, yeah, you shared that. You're going to do some practicing.
Yeah. I said, we're doing more practice and more practice and more practice.
And how the assistant coach is okay with that? He was on board?
The assistant coach says, sounds good. Let's win.
All right.
So I went from this guy of, hey, let's have fun to now it's like, no, we're going to get better and we're going to win baseball games.
Yeah. So good. I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm teaching 2 night classes this fall, which is annoying.
Oh, so that's going to get in the way. See, I am taking Little League serious enough that I believe I am going to take a season off of softball.
Oh, yeah. I didn't play softball this year for the first time in forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't blame you. The schedule is hard. So. All
right. Well, next time we talk, hopefully the Orioles have a new player.
If not, there's going to be a ton of rumors. And I know you don't want to do another show just on rumors, but I'm kind of pumped to do another show on rumors on Monday. But we can wait till Tuesday if you want.
We can talk. But I'm telling you, if we do a show Monday rumors, then I hope there's at least something that we have to talk about on Tuesday.
Do the Orioles play on Monday? Maybe we can do it live, and so people can at least listen that way. Because I know people who listen to the podcast like the next day after all the trades go down, like this is stupid and a waste of our time.
Maybe you know what I've been. The other day, let's see, next Monday. Oh, does everyone what does your schedule say for next Monday's game? Because I have an 11 a.m. and a 3 p.m. game. Do we have 2 games in Toronto?
Oh yeah, we have a doubleheader in Toronto.
Yeah, 11 a.m.
for the game in like May
and 3 o'clock. Because I guess do they want games to end before 6? Are there no night games that day?
No, I have
the first game happening.
The first game on Monday I have at 3:05.
And when do you have the second game?
Whenever game 1 ends.
Why do I have a game at 11:05?
I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing 3:05 for game 1, and game 2 is TBD.
All right. Well, explain to me why we have a Monday game at 3 o'clock.
Well, because you got to fit the doubleheader in there.
All right. I guess.
So yeah, not only do we're gonna have 2 games right before that trade deadline.
I'm gonna go to Orioles.com and check this schedule. Just to be sure.
And if we want to trade with if the Blue Jays are sellers, we could have my favorite, a dugout to dugout transfer. A walk across.
Well, remember, Monday would be the day before.
Right, so but we play on Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah, I like the idea. Maybe.
Wednesday's 4 games.
All right, let's see. It says game 2. You're right. It doesn't say a time for game 2 when I'm looking here. I don't know why it says 11. Yeah. All right. I was going to say, let's do something. What I last week I did that Facebook Live for Mike's show over on his page.
Yeah,
I noticed when doing that you can invite someone else to join and do it. So we could always, instead of a podcast episode, we could during the game hop on our Facebook page.
All right, just talk about the latest rumors, quick live
talk
show.
about rumors and stuff while the game's going on. That could be fun. Pay attention to us on Twitter and our Facebook page for any type of announcement and stuff like that.
Yeah,
we'll plan something.
Cool. All right, that sounds cool. All right, and yeah, if you don't like and follow the show on all those social media pages, what are you doing? You should for those last minute updates. And I tweeted like 2 times this week, so you should follow me on X because I tweeted twice this week. New record for me.
That's 2 times more than me.
Yeah, you need to get back on there, Josh. I thought you were all into social media now.
I do, and I found I was talking to someone today about how now that I'm doing podcasting full time, I find I'm failing at doing it for the shows I love.
Yeah. All right. Well, we also podcast reviews. We appreciate those. I think we're waiting for podcast review number 200. So go ahead.
Are we that high? Do you have the review from that we did not get to share last week in front of you? You do not. I will pull it up right here. I've got it right. I've got it right here.
All right. I was gonna type it faster than you. You beat me there.
All right. Good show. 5 stars. Been an O's fan my whole life, but just discovered and started listening to this show this year. If you're into highly produced professional podcasts, this probably isn't the show for you. However, if you enjoy laid-back banter between 2 brothers and sometimes one of their 7-year-old sons that reminds you of the type of conversations you've had with your fellow O's bird-loving families and friends who also can't pronounce any of the names more difficult than Henderson, this is the show for you. These guys are the quintessential Oriole fans, more than slightly jaded from years of highs and more common lows of O's fanhood, prone to a touch of pessimism, but always hopeful with lots of love for the team.
Oh, love that. That guy gets
I don't mind that review at all. We've never said we're professional. We've always said we're like family hanging out, arguing baseball or at a bar.
No, he gets the show. He gets it.
He gets the show. Exactly. That's 100% what we want. So thank you. I closed it. I think your name was Ian. Thank you for the review.
Yeah,
that's a perfect review.
Yeah. And by the way, my 7-year-old son was begging to do. He wants to do it every day. He was begging to do the podcast tonight. I said he can't do it.
We need to set up a time where we do maybe a bonus show where we just let Owen and Silas unprompted just talk Orioles to each other and baseball.
Yeah. Silas is itching to do it now.
Maybe we have them both write down a few topics and notes ahead of time, or we create some topics for them and we get them to do their own little spin-off show.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Sounds good. All right, boys and girls. Well, thanks for listening. You can follow us on X. You follow me on X at Section336. You follow Josh on X
at Josh Soroka.
Thanks for listening, boys and girls. And as always, go O's. Let's make a deal.